Welcome back, Becca.
Thanks, Zach.
It's been a year.
No, it hasn't.
One whole year.
Oh my gosh. I've been gone for 6 weeks.
Months.
This is what I live with. But I've been gone for 6 weeks and it has felt a long 6 weeks. My knee is... Oh, I can't actually lift it that far. Let's not do that. But it's healing and it feels so good to be back. It was a bit of a tough time, but I'm here. Better than ever. And we're launching straight into boat jobs. The year before last, when we were in the UK, oh, what are you going to say?
And then gone.
When we were in the UK, we wanted to do a very aesthetic refit on the boat, you know, paint and redo the heads and do all these things that actually were completely unnecessary to us leaving the UK and sailing around the world. But now we've got to the point where we really want to make the boat more of a home, and well, now's the time to do it.
Some of the things in our heads are very rusty and not very nice and...
Very 80s-esque.
Very 80s-esque. They just need pulling out and replacing. I think they're original for the boat, so they've probably been on there since 1985, and the mirrors are like a bit weird in the corners, and the towel rails are all rusted and horrible, and
they're functional, but
yeah, they've worked up until now, but they're not very nice, especially when you have guests on board and they go to the heads and they look at that and you're just like, oh, it's probably not the nicest thing to look at, is this rusty rail where you put your
towel. So we've bought a few things and we're going to do a little mini head refit. We're going to leave all the wood because we love the wood and it's one of our favourite bits of the boat, but the green is going, the sinks are going. Say how much we hate the sinks.
The sinks don't drain properly. They're flat bottomed, and so they just always hold water in them, and being in this kind of heat and having water sitting in them, it just goes gross in there after a few days, and you end up having to wash them all the time, and they're poorly designed and just...
Yeah, the sinks are broken, the taps are broken.
One of the taps is very broken.
This is the broken tap, and if you drop it, it goes down and then you can't get it out, so that's great.
There's a few things we still need to get for the heads, like we need to get a dedicated shower fitting for the front one, which we're going to do at some point when we sort out the tap, so we'll do the tap first and have to tee off another bit for there, but yeah, we've got all new fittings, pretty much everything in there, all the kind of functional things in the heads.
Yeah, and initially Zach wanted kind of lightweight, kind of bronze, was it bronze sinks? And we couldn't really find the right size, so we have gone for more of a ceramic one, but they are small, they're 11-inch, so yeah, it's going to be a really nice space to be.
How heavy were they? They're only like 2 kilos each, the ceramic bowls, so we're not adding tons of weight. It's not, ideally we would have gone for composite, however, it's very minimal, the actual weight this is going to add, and they're quite low down the boat where the sinks are, so...
Yeah, so back on the boat, I think I've been here a day, so we're plunging straight into boat work, but I actually couldn't be happier. I really wouldn't have it any other way. So once again, thanks for all your well wishes over the last 6 weeks. It's really kept me positive in the UK. And now I'm back and I'm raring to go. It feels really nice to finally be putting some love into the interior, because it's never felt like the right time before now. It's always felt like a useless thing to be doing when, you know, you need to do the rigging, or we need to service the sails or the winches, and the thought of us kind of painting the heads seemed a bit pathetic. But now we want it to be a nice place, you know? We've been on the boat 2.5 years at this point, so it's about time we had a nice little head to call our own. Anyway, I'm saying goodbye to the green because, yeah, it's going, and I'm not sad about it.
If you were here with us in the early days, you'll understand how exciting it is to be at this stage. And if you weren't, and are only just joining, welcome, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned until the end for the craziest transformation yet.
Oh my gosh. One mirror down. Oh, it's so empty in here without that. One sink.
Just a second ago, Zach was hacking away in here and then he left to go get a tool and just water started coming in. And I said, Zach, what's that? And he said, oh, that's just outside water. That's just the seawater coming in.
I think it was seawater. Something was emptying.
Something was emptying. That's the first time you tried to sink our boat.
Yeah, that would sink it. It is shut now. That would sink it very slowly if that did stay like that, though.
Is it under the waterline?
It's probably just at it. But the more the boat filled, the lower it would get, obviously. It was a very slow sink.
That one time we almost sunk our boat in a marina. Anyway, it's looking good. Zach has been hacking.
Well, it's not looking good. It's looking worse now because there's nothing in here.
Yeah, but progress.
But it will look better
Progress
soon.
is not linear, Zach. It does look strange, though. We have a
There's so much going on in that one.
It's almost a shame we can't make that space more usable.
They can't. It's got so much going on. It's got so many like functional things that need to be in there. As you can see on the table right here, everything is off. So 2 mirrors, 2 sinks, 2 taps. These taps are so... loads of the parts just broke as I was taking them out, but a few of these have been kind of slow leaking for a while anyway. So they're all off. Handrails are off as well, and I'm just trying to figure out if our new taps can use these old fittings to see when we go to Home Depot next if we need any extra parts, which I think we probably will need. Okay, wait. Ah! I'm thinking as well a little bit.
Zach is just trying to bung these pipes. There really should be more cut-off ball valve. Wow, I've been off the boat for 6 weeks and I've forgotten all the terms for everything. A water isolator, I don't think that's the proper term, but there should be more of them. You know what I'm trying to say. You know me by now. Ignore the ceiling right now, but we're just dropping in to say that this time of year has come again. We're going to the Annapolis boat show next week. We are super excited. We can't wait to see you all there. We have a Patreon meetup that Friday morning. For more info, we've left a link below to our Patreon. And
we've also got some discounted tickets to the show below in our link as well in the description, and we're going to be there on Friday, Saturday and Sunday at the booth. So come along, say hey. We're going to be on the booth for an hour each day or an hour and a half on the Sunday evening.
The timings are down below, so see you then. Yesterday we asked a friend here in the yard if he could grab us some wood from Home Depot.
Well, they did try and invite us, but I missed their call like 5 times.
Yeah, Zach was hacking the sinks apart at the time. But this is also Travis, who picked me up from the airport with Zach. So proper legends, but here's their car. They drove it all the way from Texas down. Took them 3 days. Lovely. Yeah? Mm-hmm. That's great. My favourite bit is the crack the whole way along the windscreen. As our new sinks are going to sit on top of the surface and not be built in, we have some fairly big holes to fill.
These blanks are now in. I need to rough up this surface here where it accidentally peeled back all this. I'm going to put a layer of epoxy over it. The rest of this seems to be holding on really well, so I'm actually going to leave that and just fill all of these gaps here. I also need to get some plugs made for these. That's what I'm going to do next. Before I use the filler on this, I've made some little brackets to go underneath so it holds it whilst the thing of epoxy is all kind of curing, and to give it a little bit more support. We were thinking about fiberglassing it, but I think this is just going to be a lot simpler and a lot quicker. I think it'll be decently strong, this as well. There shouldn't be too much force going on this top. But with the thing of epoxy around the outside of this and then 4 of these kind of little brackets holding it underneath, I think this plate should be pretty rock solid. So yeah, I'm going to attach these now and then drill it up underneath. Same with the little plug that I've got there, and then I need to do the same on the other side as well. I thickened epoxy and filled in these gaps here yesterday. What I need to do now is sand back all this area so it's nice and flush. We also need to sand everywhere where I've written a W on here because we're going to paint this with some white bilge paint to get rid of this kind of 80s green colour that we've got going on here. But the paint won't stick to this really smooth surface, so I've got to rough all of that up as well and smooth down the holes that I filled in here as well. So yeah, this is going to be me for the next probably day or so. So I've just roughed up all the walls that we're going to be putting paint on. This one here, I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, hasn't been roughed up, but this one has. But listen to this.
Wow.
Weird.
Look at how happy that makes you.
I didn't realise, I was like cleaning the walls and I didn't realise, and then I went on to that and I was like, why is that so loud?
Good job. It's looking really good in here. Zach has done an excellent job so far. There's a few little imperfections still, so I'm just going to go in with this all-purpose filler. But I will be honest, this is from Tesco's. It was about probably 6 years old now. I had it when I was at uni and made a mark on a wall and tried to fix it. And it is slightly solid, so we're going to see how this comes out.
Well, that's not the right consistency.
No.
Okay, needless to say, that went in the bin, and instead we went back to using our trusty Total Boat epoxy.
Yeah. This is quite literally the most satisfying thing ever. I feel like a plasterer. And now I'm happy that the prep is done. I think tomorrow morning we'll come in and do another sweep and wipe because the dust settles overnight, but for now, this is how it's looking. I'm very happy with it. It's time to paint. We've taped and I've cleaned and it's time. So I'm going to start by priming it with this topside primer. This is great for any enamel based paints, mainly because we haven't got this paint on there already. So this is good for bare wood and fiberglass and any non-painted surface too. So I'm going to use that, thin coats, probably 2 coats of this. And then once that's dry, this is really quick drying actually. I think it says an hour in this temperature. And then moving on to the bilge paint, we've decided rather than brushing to roller, which has its pros and cons. The brush obviously leaves brush marks, but is easier to not cover other things. The roller, I'm gonna have to make sure it's really thin coat so it doesn't splash on things. But that's fine, I'm excited to finally get some coats on, and yeah, let's do it.
Becca's just done the first coat of primer in here and it's looking really good. There's still some little patches here and there, but that will all be cleared up with the second coat of primer and then the actual paint afterwards. So yeah, it's starting to take shape in here.
I'm trying to talk to the camera, but The camera's too close, so I've got to adapt. This morning, we're back at it, trying to get the first coat of actual bilge paint on before it gets too hot, and also we need to wait 8 hours between the first and the second, the first and the last, hopefully, coats. So yeah, Zach's in there sanding the primer because yesterday evening it was just so warm on the boat that it went a bit clumpy in places, so he's sanding and then I'm gonna go and paint. Very exciting. Big day today. Hopefully by this evening the decoration should be done. I think between the layers of paint, maybe between the layers of paint, but I'm going to start tiling because I really can't wait to get that tile on any longer. So yeah, that's the plan of action today. I don't know why it's so funny, but Zach's used the cheese grater as a doorstop this morning. Could you imagine going in the house and then seeing a doorstop is a cheese grater? I don't know why that's so funny. This paint is really pulling the whole look together, which is really nice. It's actually getting really white. Ah!
Looks good.
Yeah.
Nice piano music.
Yeah. So it's quite late at night at the moment and I just wanted to get one more coat on before we go to sleep so Zach can come in here tomorrow morning and install the heads, the sinks, the taps. So excited for that. I'm happy with how it's come out. I was kind of hoping for it to be perfect and then I realised that seeking perfection just isn't what this is about. You know, like we wanted the walls white, the walls are white, gotta keep moving. But there's a little bit of texture in some places and I could have sanded a bit better in some places, but the boat's not perfect, we're not perfect, and the walls are white and I'm going to bed knowing that. And yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow. I actually, after all the rollering, I did 3 coats of roller. I then switched to brush today because I decided I actually quite like the texture. We've had these flat green, very untextured walls for so long, I thought, let's just add a bit of texture and add a bit of character in, add a bit more character. There's enough character on my painting. But I mean, the walls are white. Oh. Interesting.
It's a Victron unit.
Yeah, there's just a big holder.
Yeah.
For some reason I didn't know really what was going to be there.
I thought you could feel it. If you pushed on here, you could feel it like giving in. I remember there being a hole on the other side.
You'd never know with the tiles.
No. I don't know what that was over for. I think some diesel heater would have been.
Oh no! The tape. Oh no. That might be an issue. The tape is very much in it. It's part of it. Where the tape came off in a few places, it peeled the paint up slightly, which isn't an issue because you can't see it. However, because this is a wet room, we don't want the water to get under the paint and bubble it up or peel it up even more. So what we're going to do is we're going to tape a very skinny area around here and do a very thin bead of black Sikaflex. I think it's just the smartest thing to do given that this does get wet. But because when we're drilling the holes for the sink, we don't want to get sawdust in the Sika, we're going to do the sink mock-ups and holes now and the tap, and then we're going to tape round Sika and Sika the sink in all at once. We want more space this side to put stuff in, toothbrush and toothpaste, etc. But we were going to have it in the middle, but then you're really leaning over to wash your face and brush your teeth, so having it a bit closer, but then trying to figure out whether this will spray if it's too far on the side, because obviously it'd be nicer if this was further back so you have more of the bowl, but I think it's better if it kind of angles into the bowl a bit more. So I think we were going to measure, but you know what, I think That looks quite nice.
That couldn't have been any closer to that screw, really.
That's a good hole. Tell me your tip for getting the hole so neat.
So when the teeth start digging in, start going in reverse instead of clockwise, anti-clockwise, because these teeth on these kind of rip the plywood quite a bit, and so if it's going reverse, it kind of slowly makes a little groove, and then you can go in and do it, because otherwise it would just rip out all the bits of plywood. Less important on non-plywood bits of wood.
Now we're ready to go through that process all over again in here. I think this one's going to be a bit easier because it's smaller, so I think... Oh, actually no, we definitely still want it over a side, don't we? Okay, what I kind of need to do is position the tap first. So your towel will be there.
I think it's good.
Should I put a towel on it?
No.
I want the symmetry of that to be when you step out here, it's like in that gap.
Okay.
Do you care, Zach?
Not massively. I mean, I think it looks good the last 5 places you put it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one feels more scary than the forwards one. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, plan of action.
I gotta screw these in, put that thing on, drop it in, tighten it up, plug it in, and then we can turn it on.
Okay.
If that makes sense. But it should be quite straightforward,
Oh gosh. Famous last words, Zach.
hopefully. Yeah, 10 off. These connectors aren't good enough. I thought they wouldn't be. Hello.
Back from town.
Yeah, so I did manage to find some better fittings. They're not... I don't know if they're water, they're probably gas ones, but this is the closest that I could get. This is a 1/2 inch thread that fits perfectly in ours. And what's going to happen is this is going to go into here. I'm going to have to heat this hose up to get it on top of here. And then this hose will go on top of our solid PVC pipe that we've got running around here for our pressurized system. So fingers crossed, with a bit of heat and a bit of luck, it will work.
Nice. And what did you buy me from town?
I got you, well, I actually got you a few things, but the main thing is I think it's Labor Day or something like that. I got you some Mexican donuts.
That's awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. You got it working? Go on, first run. Oh my gosh, oh, it's nice. Oh.
That's just the pressure going in the front.
Wow, look
There's
at
still a little
that.
bit there in the system.
Look at that.
And no leaks. You'll see my wizardry down here.
Wow, there is a lot going on in that cupboard.
There is a lot. So this is all our new converter to get it onto this.
Yeah.
And then this is our normal pipe that was on here. Couldn't get that on there, and there's this converter to this one to this
Nice.
to get it onto the tap.
Right, that's awesome. How come down there is wet?
Because when I was taking the bolts off of here, water went everywhere.
Zach? Good job.
We can finally have our head back.
Yeah, that's awesome. So have you done it right, hot and cold?
Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure if it's right, but we'll just see.
That's fine, we'll figure it out.
It's easy enough to change around. All I need to change around if it is wrong is just these ones on.
Yeah.
So it's just like undo the hose clamps, switch them over, and then we can get it right. But once we turn on the hot water again, we can do that, because at the moment it doesn't matter.
Good job, Zach.
I did a good thing. Nothing's leaking. Is that leaking? Maybe that is a tiny bit.
Okay, I think it's late enough just not look at it anymore.
Yeah. This is the first time we've had a tap in this head for about 1.5 years, because we did have one before, but it was and broken because I broke it. When did I do that?
I don't know, but every time...
In like Dominica?
Yeah, every time you dropped it, it fell all the way down because it had no actual...
It was just like a hose with like a droopy bit
limp
on it.
hose.
And it looked horrible and disgusting. We need to tidy up in here a little bit still with varnish and stuff like that, but this is a vast improvement, and finish this wall as well, but this and this is already a vast improvement.
It looks so nice. Okay. I think it will go somewhere like that then.
50. I have no idea how I'm going to do this.
You're just going to have to wiggle it around and see.
Almost.
The mirror is mounted, and that definitely took a few goes to get it on there. It kept hooking on the cork wood thing behind it rather than the actual anchor points, but now it's on and it looks really cool. So we're just installing the second mirror now, and honestly, measuring walls on a boat that aren't straight is almost impossible, but we're making it work. We kind of just do it by eye. I've seen online people have those lasers. They're pretty cool, but we really can't justify that. Pretty late at night, which is a great time to start tiling. I've never done this before, so we're just going to see how it goes. I'm going to wipe the area down with the TotalBoat Prep anti-wax, anti-grease wipe, and then we're just gonna wing it. I'm tiling this wall, which in hindsight I should have done before we put the tap and sink in, but whatever. And also this wall. This is the surface prep thing I was telling you about. I've just realised the ceiling is sloped. Okay, I'm going to start down here instead. Yesterday I stayed up probably a little bit too late trying to finish this tiled wall, and I've got a few things to report on. So firstly, the tile is this kind of gel, don't know if you can even see, but it's a kind of a gel material and it doesn't cut too easily, but I am happy with how it's looking so far. The second observation is we under-ordered by a long way, and it is really expensive for what it is. So that's a bit sad, because I think we won't be able to do as much as we were initially hoping. I think, you know, I'll be lucky if I have enough for this wall, and that was 2 packs, which is just under 200 quid for a tiled wall. We didn't really expect that. It could just be, you know, Mexican prices, or I'm not sure what it is, but it's a lot more expensive, and we thought it'd go a lot further than it did, but that's fine. Keeping positive. I've got a little bit more to do at the bottom, and I'm really happy with it. Oh, and there. It has really brought the room together. We were initially hoping to tile this wall too, but I think we might end up painting that. And then we've got some little bits down here: toilet brush holder, toilet roll holder, towel rail, and this hemp string that I want to accessorise this room with. I actually put a tile at the bottom and worked up, and then I started at the top and worked down, and then got to the point where I'd have to cut a tile in half. So I'm going to have to put a tile on there, mark where it needs to be cut, and then cut it, which is the tricky bit, and it's obviously hard to access behind there, but I'll figure it out. Just got that much to go, so feeling happy. you kidding me? More?
It's small scratching, isn't it?
That would be cool. Okay, keep it there. Today we need to install the handrail. Handrail, it's not a handrail. Well, it's going to be a towel rail, but as you know, on offshore passages, when it gets a bit rolly, it can accidentally be a handrail. So we're going to make sure that's really in well. We're going to epoxy in the holes too for strength and also to make them waterproof, because at some point we're going to add a permanent shower head fixture here, because obviously this is our shower too. And then I also want to do a few aesthetic things. I want to get a plant here, kind of going down there, or here going down there. I've got this hessian, which is going to be, I'm going to wrap the toilet pipes with, just because it looks quite nice. And then I've got this new silicone toilet brush, which we're going to mount right down here. And then we also have the lovely Tay-Lee sign that Eva from Sail Life made me for my birthday last year. That's going to go there. And then the last thing is the toilet roll holder, which is just there. Haven't decided where this is going to go yet, but probably somewhere. Probably somewhere. Good description.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the plan for today. And then I think maybe we'll start getting priming on this. We've been putting it off a little bit, but today's the day, I think. Yeah, it gives me some lines to work from. Oh, cool. Okay. So the biggest thing now is just to make sure the gap here is a good distance. Yeah?
Just gonna make up some epoxy.
That's awesome. You have two options for this. That's very in your face, isn't it? I think that's two in your face. Or over here. Oh, I hate toilet roll holders. We've never had one before, and I thought they were nice things, but they're very apparent, aren't they? Like, it's not a discreet thing, is it?
I would say on the other wall.
But every bathroom in a house has one, so like, this wall.
Oh, but then is it gonna be close to the toilet seat there? No, not so low down.
Why? We're not gonna have it like eye height.
No, but it'd be like waist height.
Yeah. Is there a rule to how high they should be? That's quite ergonomic.
Just accessible.
Accessible. Boat heads aren't the best design spaces for DIY, but we're making it work. There might be a very slightly different shade of white. This is where it gets really tricky. Around here. Just got to take off so many small bits at once. This is honestly such a big transformation. It's pretty much done, and I'm so happy. I think for the longest time we had this overwhelming guilt with doing anything homely on the boat. You know, it's very commonly spoken about that a boat is a boat before it's a home, and whilst I do agree, and you know, the evidence of the last 2.5 years of us doing upgrades and maintenance on the boat has proven that, I think they can coexist. And I think if you're happy in the space you're in, naturally you're going to want to put more love and look after it more. Not that we don't look after Tay-Lee, we live and breathe Tay-Lee's welfare, to be honest, unhealthily so at points. But to have this space as nice as this for us to use every day is a really nice feeling. You know, this is our first home, and whilst everyone moves into their first home and runs to IKEA and kits it out, we were redoing the decks and installing bilge pumps and stuff, and it's less glamorous. And I think while I was wrapping those tubes, I was thinking about it quite a lot, that when you replace the standing rigging, you replace it and then you forget about it, which is great. You don't want to be constantly thinking, hey, I'm happy I've replaced that standing rigging. Obviously in a school you'll be thinking, hey, I'm happy I've replaced that standing rigging. But apart from that, on the day-to-day, you install it, you spend the money, and then you forget about it, you know? And this project is one of those ones that we won't forget. We'll walk in here every day and just love the space we're in, and I think that's really nice. You know, I was going through some memories online earlier, and there was one of me sending sinks to Zach 2 years ago, and the backwards and forwards of the messages said, oh, one day we can dream. We don't need that yet, and it's taken 2.5 years to buy these sinks. Yeah, it's a really cool feeling. That's progress, you know? I'm so happy with this, and yeah, it's actually a really nice place to be. Hot still, you don't get very good airflow through here, but it's, yeah, lovely, and I'm so delighted with how everything's come out.